Welcome to Grow Green Barbados. I'm your host, Dr. David Bynoe, agronomist, economist, and sustainable development specialist. In this episode, I'm proud to be your host as we focus on sticking to your roots. Now, roots are said to be one of the most important parts of plants because they provide nutrients, water, and they also provide stability for plants at the same time. But they're not only important for plants, they're extremely important to us. Globally, within the Caribbean region and even in Barbados, roots have been especially important in times of crisis. Some of you may be old enough to remember big grain rice. But beyond that, roots are also important for health. If you look at this turmeric that I have in my hand, you know how beneficial this could be. If we dig here in this soil, and this is so important, if we dig here, we're going to reveal something that is hidden, and that is ginger. This is also very beneficial. But in this episode, we're not looking at ginger or turmeric, we're looking at sweet potato. So all you would simply need to stick to your roots is a sweet potato slip. If you don't have that, you can use a potato, whole potato. You need a little compost, a hoe, fork, and of course a watering can or a hose. And you have to put it someplace, so look for a planting area. You can put it in your soil, or you can put it in a plant pot or any other container. Join us and stick to your roots. Let's place the green spotlight on sweet potato. This is a healthy sweet potato that's ready to eat. This is one that is diseased with scurvy. Now, the truth is, anyone can produce this with the right knowledge. All you need is a watering can or access to water, and you can grow sweet potato all year round, any time of the year, 365 days of the year. But what's also important is that sweet potato can grow on most soils, but they prefer, slightly sandy loams. If you grow them in very heavy clays, they're not going to expand that wide, so therefore you're not going to get a very big sweet potato, but you can still get a sweet potato. A point to note that those countries that are volcanic, which are acidic, they have a bigger advantage over coral islands like Barbados, because sweet potato tends to like slightly acidic soil. If you still have some ash or access to ash, you can put that ash around the sweet potato plant or mix it in the soil, because it's going to make the soil slightly more acidic and you're going to have an increasing yield. In addition to that, it's important to note that when you're growing sweet potato, you want clean planting material, because if not, you're going to end up with this sweet potato that has scurvy and disease. And for clean planting material, you can get it from a farmer who you know has that, or you can get it from an authentic supplier, which would be, of course, the Ministry of Agriculture, who keeps a clean germplasm bank. So we place a spotlight on sweet potato. So let's get down to our roots. Now, this is the turmeric I had here before, and guess what? It is time to reap. If you come around this side, you're gonna see that this turmeric is abundant. Look at this. Now, you probably don't have to go to the supermarket for the rest of the year to buy turmeric. Look at this. This is nice, healthy drink. Oh, and the smell. Ooh, so pungent and strong. Look at that. You can see the beta carotene in there is so rich. Even the ones you buy sometimes in the supermarket is not as bright as this. This is what you call good quality homegrown, grown green, organic turmeric. Now that we've had our turmeric out, I want you to understand a particular principle. I'm doing this on purpose. Now, generally, if you're planting the same crop that is using the same space, for instance, we just took out a root crop from here and we want to put in another crop. Ideally, you shouldn't put in another root crop, because you want to do something called crop rotation. If you have very limited space, you can do so, but you want to use a different type of root crop, and you have to replace the nutrients that was taken away, which is some mainly phosphorus from development of roots. Why you don't do that? Because when you plant the same plant, especially the same type, you generally have disease. And that's why when you have sweet potato, you find that people grow sweet potato in rotation with sugarcane. They grow the sugarcane, then they pause and they grow sweet potato, and then they revert back to sugarcane, because you have to rotate. If not, you're going to have diseases like scurvy and other problems. When you're preparing the bed, just as I demonstrated in the first segment that we did, we want to make sure that we fork the bed. So I would have forked this. You want to make sure that you have the beds raised. Because it's sweet potato, you want to have it slightly raised, and you want to have enough soil that you can plant in. In this case, the bed is already prepared. All I have to do is to water it, because when you're planting sweet potato, you want to make sure that the soil is wet. Sweet potato, however, is an adventitious root, and therefore it is a root per se, scientifically speaking as well. And it generally, adventitious roots generally come out from the stems. So you'll find that you're growing sweet potato and you're going to see some roots forming from the stem itself. The hole should be about 2 to 3 inches deep. The area that you would have taken off the stems from, that is what you want to insert into the hole. But before you do that, now I must note that traditionally people don't fertilize sweet potato, especially on plantations, because it's rotated with sugarcane, and the excess fertilizer from sugarcane is then used for the crop. However, because you're doing this at home and you may not be in rotation with another crop, you may want to ensure that you put in some nutrients, not high nitrogen, because high nitrogen is going to cause the plant just to grow leaves and no roots. What you want is a balanced fertilizer that is a bit higher in phosphorus, because phosphorus helps in root development. But when we're talking about fertilizer, remember you're growing green. So this is organic fertilizer. So you can use an organic compost, and you can place it in the bottom of the hole that you're actually developing. And the compost is not going to burn the plant once it's well aged. And you put it there, and that should provide enough nutrients for your root to develop properly. You want to then firm it down, and then from there you can water it slightly again. Now I want to note that sweet potato goes through 3 main development phases. The first phase of growth is going to focus very heavily on the root extension. So the roots are going to extend, they're going to go across this down area, and you're going to see very little growth of the leaves and the vine. The second phase is when the vine takes over after the roots are established, and the vines are going to grow extremely rapid, and they're going to cover the area. Of course, these vines are growing rapid because they're going to photosynthesize, and they're going to channel nutrients to the root. At that third stage, that is when the cycle then reverts to the roots, and the roots become the dominant growth area, because that's when they're expanding to create your tuber. Sweet potato is one of these crops that they're very dynamic. And so there are many varieties. There are thousands of varieties of sweet potatoes. So you can have a sweet potato ready from between 3 months to 6 months. There's some varieties now that you can even get in 2 months. None of these plants is just sweet potato slip. I want you to understand that spacing has an important part to play. So if we generally space between 12 to 14 inches, but the wider apart you bring them, the larger the tuber would be, and the closer you bring them, the smaller the tuber would be. So it's up to you really the size tuber that you want. But in addition to this, when this is planted and you're waiting, it is worth the wait, because sweet potato is one of those unique plants. It has about 3 grams of fiber, and therefore is very good to fight non-communicable diseases. In addition, it packs a triple punch. It has folate, beta-carotene, and vitamin C. And when you look at the 5 key parameters for addressing things like blood pressure and problems with your arteries, all you need to add to that is potassium and B6. And sweet potato also has that. So this is really an amazing plant for your health. We all talk about the issue of complex carbohydrates. This is a complex carbohydrate. So I want you to really take this serious, plant some sweet potato, stick to your roots, and let's grow green together, Barbados. Now that you know how to grow sweet potato, all that is left to do is to learn how to cook it properly in a healthy and a nutritious way. And for this, of course, we have none other than Chef Adrian to walk you through in our home cook segment how to do so.
Hi, I'm Chef Adrian Cumberbatch, Executive Chef and Director at Cook Caribbean Inc. And we're here to grow green. And today I'm making for you a sweet potato salad with some local kale, some basil in there, garlic, herbs. We're going to use some flavor peppers, everything that's been and grown here locally. We're we're ready to go, okay? So let's get this salad going. I have boiled my sweet potatoes first. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to boil your sweet potatoes. I'm gonna give them some quick slices. You can cut them in cubes if you want, but you know I like to have a presentation on. Add them to the bowl. I would say 1/4 inch slices, and you boil them in the skin, okay? Keep all the starch and the nutrients in. Then I'm gonna add a tablespoon of fresh garlic. In here I have chopped chives. I have some chopped parsley too as well. I'm gonna add a couple of forkful of these here, my mixed herbs. You want to use plenty of herbs, you know? Everything is local and fresh and nice. Get out the way. I'm gonna add some onions, half of an onion diced. Flavor peppers, not hot. So have some more sweet potato there. I'm gonna leave it with the seeds inside. I'm gonna give it a quick dice. Remember, this is not hot. To add nice flavor to your potato salad. Very simple dish to make. Kale, locally grown kale, full of vitamins and minerals and good for you. I'm gonna add a couple of these on my plate for pre-garnish. Then I'm gonna add some to our dish. I'm gonna chiffonade them or cut them thinly. Right, add that to my salad there. I have some fresh basil. Gonna add that nice aromatic sweet flavor to your sweet potato salad. Right, quick dice on that. About 2 or 3 leaves. In here, in my mixture, my cup, I have oil and I have lime juice mixed already. Oil and lime juice. I'm just gonna add 3 tablespoons of that over my mixture there. And then in here, my chef mix. I always have a chef mix. So in here I have 1 teaspoon each of salt, all-purpose seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, salt-free seasoned salts. And I have a little curry powder in here too as well. I'm gonna add this here on there, and then I'm going to try to mix your salad up nicely. Get everything incorporated nicely there. Nice and green and healthy, all fresh, locally grown. Mix it up properly. You don't want to mash up your sweet potatoes. Keep stirring up nicely, quick and simple, and then you're going to plate out your dish. Plate out your sweet potato salad with kale. You can serve it at a family gathering. Have some friends coming over, want to give something different, this is what you could do. Simple and nice. Let's get this up here. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, your sweet potato and kale salad all locally grown. Remember, we are growing Green Barbados. Thank you very much. I'm Chef Adrian Cumberbatch. Bye-bye.
Make sure that you take a look at our Grow Green champion, who's going to show you their experience of growing sweet potatoes. Let's stick to our roots, Barbados.
My name is Bernice Chase from JMP Farms. I am one of the managing directors. My husband is the next one, and we have a son who will take over. I believe that, especially in these times, that we need to grow our own food. And when I say we, not just Barbados, but Barbadians should be growing their own food. Even if it is sweet potato alone you're growing, that's a crop that is very versatile. There are so many other things that we can grow. We are eating very healthy because we know what goes into our ground, and we know what we put in, and so what we put in we expect to get back out. We've grown quite a number of vegetables and ground provision. We have fruit trees, so we are eating from what we have. We also grow sheep. We grow chickens and turkeys. We have ducks, and you know that's food as well. We get our teas from our tree leaves and from our medicinal plants, which are some herbs. That's our tea. We get our breakfast. If it's a smoothie, we have parsley. You can have even the very young sweet potato leaves sauteed with some onion and sweet pepper and so on. That's a lovely breakfast. You can even have the sweet potato sliced and toasted, okay? And that's just small. I believe that a nation that is not able to feed itself, you know, will always be at the mercies of others, and we need to be able to feed ourselves. This bread actually won an award in 2019. Right. It actually won something called the Best Bajan Baker. The Best Bajan Baker bread. And this bread is made up of sweet potato, and which is the actual carrot potato, carrots, beets, parsley, and it also has parsley in it. Right, so it's a nice vegetable bread. But it still has that wheat flour, so it's not gluten-free, right? But you can have those vegetables that I called in a gluten-free flour as well. And if you look, you'll see how pretty it is. All the different colors coming through. And it's tasty too. Go Green Barbados.
A famous philosopher once said, "It is the roots of a plant, not its stems nor its branches, where its greatest strength lies." So let us harness this strength. Let's stick to our roots. And until next time, grow green, Barbados.